You are a magical girl. In the past, you seem to have referred to yourself as Murderface. Your memory isn't the best. You remember some things faintly, like viewing them through smoked glass. Others you remember startlingly clearly, as if you were there, watching them unfold, replaying over and over again. One of them being shooting a smiling pink-haired girl in the face, moments after she tore your still-beating heart out from your chest with clawed hands. You are Chiaki Matsuda, and you are in the seedy bar that's just a few blocks away from your own apartment. You're not too sure how you ended up here. Well, you're not exactly sure, but you have an idea. After what had happened in Mommy's apartment, and having spent a good chunk of the day helping her clean up, you had decided to step out for a moment. Maybe you didn't want to stick around too much. Sure, the food was good, and it felt nice to be around the blonde, but you didn't quite care for the company. Namely, the blue-haired bitch glaring at you after every bite. Or the lectures that little rat bastard kept spouting. You wanted some fresh air, and you ended up where you normally tried your level best to kill your liver. It's funny how things work out. The bar doesn't really have a name. It's just a bar, built there to give people a place to try and drown whatever sorrows they have. It's staffed by a tall, dark-skinned man with the biggest afro you've ever seen, and sharp facial hair you swear is tailored to make his furious scowl look like it's taking up 90% of his face. You check your inventory. Everything's pretty much there, same as the last time. Well, except the money. You already gave that to Charles, the bartender. Oh, you have that envelope Sayaka tossed your way. You haven't opened it yet. It's supposed to be your next assignment. You're not drunk. You could be drunk a bit more, though. You've already drunk your money's worth, but you do have a tab, and Charles still owes you for that time when you solved a particularly nasty problem involving a couple of Yakuza trying to shoot up the joint. You order a double whiskey, and are mere seconds from lighting the cigarettes when you hear the bar doors open behind you, a cheerfully grating voice ringing out. Hey, if it isn't old Murderface! Still trying to take yourself out the slow way, huh? Alcohol and pills? The cigarettes end up on the bar, thankfully not into your double, as a hearty slap slams into your back with resounding force. Heard you actually took out a witch this time without killing anyone by accident. You're improving! Sakura Kyoko. This night just turned out a whole lot worse. Trying to look as if that slap hadn't almost knocked the lungs out of your body, you grab your glass and drain it of whiskey, not caring if it burned like hell on the way down. Motioning to Charles for another refill, you place the cigarettes back into your mouth, lighting them simultaneously, before giving her the most withering look you could ever muster. She only looks back at you, blankly, somewhat confused, and partly waiting for something to happen. Grumbling about one-eyed idiots, you tuck the envelope underneath one arm and grab your drink. You slide off the bar stool and trot off to a private table at the corner, but to your increasing ire she follows suit, just like some sort of one-eyed puppy with a Pocky addiction. Well, I guess some things never change. You're still the most rousing conversation partner anyone could get, Kyoko chimes as she annoyingly seats herself from across you, waving at Charles and ordering her own drink. Come on, don't be sulky. I came around to see how you're doing after all. Isn't that what friends do? Well, what? My girlfriend? But I don't... Oh, you mean Sayaka! Ha 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 ha! Oh, that's rich, Murderface. We're just good friends, really! Ha ha ha! The forced fake laughter would have been disturbing anyone else in the bar, if there had been anyone else in the damn bar besides you and Charles. After a few moments more of fresh denial, she hunkers down and hisses at you, her one good eye glaring. I swear, Murderface, make a crack like that again, and I'll ambush you myself one of these days. And then, like a switch had been flipped, she grins again just as the bartender brings her drink over. Some sort of red girly drink. You're not sure what it's exactly called. It smells a bit fruity, though. But, sorry about that. We're kinda going through a rough patch, Kyoko says, managing to look sheepish as she cautiously sips her drink. You shoot her a look, shake your head, and make to open the envelope. You've ignored it long enough. So, what really happened? In Mommy's apartment, I mean. One of the Kyubeis said it was a particularly strong one. How'd you manage that? Huh. Nothing really special then, I guess. It seems that she's strangely relieved about that, but with your odd one-eyed acquaintance, you can't be too sure. That's pretty bad luck, though, having one pop up right there, when you're just about to arrive and all. You glance up at her, before shaking your head again as you unravel the string lock on the envelope, sucking down greedily on the 2 cigarettes currently occupying your lips. After a moment of continuing to ruin your lungs and voice, you grumble out your question around your cigarettes, and the girl sitting in front of you reddens somewhat. Yeah, I guess. I've been trying to quit. Too much sweets and all. Costume's getting a bit tight. It's then that she brightens up again. Hey, give me one of those things. They help make you lose weight, right? You shrug, and give her a cigarette from your box, letting her light it up with one of your already spent ones. As she smokes her first cigarette, coughing and hacking loudly after the very first puff, you pull out the papers inside the envelope. There are 2, with a photograph of what looks like a young female idol. You're not into that sort of music, but she does look stupid and 2-dimensional enough to be one. Kyubei has loaned you out of security. Perfect. Huh? Really? Well, I guess that sort of makes sense. Kyoko's voice trails off as she thoughtfully nibbles on her cigarette's filter, not exactly breathing in the smoke. You ignore her and look at the assignment Kyubei has already signed you up for in advance. The client's name is Minase Iori, age 16. Apparently, a group of otakus have declared their undying love for her, and had promised to take her away sometime before her upcoming concert. You've been contracted to assist as her personal security detail until she goes to America for the next stage of her world tour. It seems to be a lot of money, and Kyubei had promised you 2 grief seeds in return for it. Not the most challenging of jobs, you suppose. Just another babysitting job. Otakus aren't the most threatening sort either. You'd think a normal security detail would have sufficed, but her studio seemed adamant that special measures were taken. Of course, you know that whatever Kyubei sends your way, it usually turns out to be more than you bargained for. You're asked to report, as soon as you can, to the hotel where she is staying. You know where it is, and you can get there quickly enough. Huh, babysitting job, huh? That sucks. Kyoko manages to blow smoke right into your face as she offers her unneeded opinion. Yeah, good luck there. The guys you're watching out for are serious perverts. Charles just places the bottle of whiskey in front of you and leaves you to refill your glass at your own pace, just like every night. Kyoko frowns at your question, and perhaps veiled insult, but seems to give it some serious thought, which is rare considering she's now biting into cigarette filter like it's Pocky. Well, one of her fellow idols got targeted last month by these losers. Some girl named Yayoi or something or other. They didn't really think much about them. Just put up the usual security detail. Couple of armed gorillas and shades, you know what I mean. She finally notices that she's chewing on filter and hastily spits it out. Anyway, turns out they'd been planning it for the longest time. They disguised themselves as hotel staff and locked her in that very room. Security detail didn't even hear a peep out of that place, and you can bet they took their time with her. No one got caught, but the footage hit every pay-for-porn site there the night after. Kyoko shakes her head. The girl went into hiding after that. Heard she went insane or something. Rapists. Wonderful. You think as you drain your 3rd or 4th glass, you can't remember. All you know is that you've dealt with such folk before, and you usually ended up wasting too much ammo. Well, Are you gonna take it or what? I wouldn't, the eye-patched girl grumbles. 2 grief seeds? Then again, you're not exactly the type to play White Knight. I mean, look at you. She laughs. It's barely dinner time and you already smell like booze. Kyoko blinks at your reply, before grinning. Yeah, things never do change. I knew you'd say that, even though this isn't really your type of thing. Stubbing out her cigarette on the table as she sips her drink. At least this way something exciting will be in the news. Hey, you think you can execute one of them on camera? That's always good TV, you know. Gives us a bit more exposure. You start to reply that you'd think about it, but it's then that you freeze as you see Kyoko's face blur in front of you. Not a migraine. She's not going in and out of focus, and it's certainly not your glasses either. And you're not quite that drunk. Not yet. It must be... You stare as Kyoko is suddenly replaced by a hallucination. The pink-haired girl in your dreams. The one that you shot right in the face, just before she tore your still beating heart out of your chest with her bare hands. Hello, Homura-chan, she says, beaming. Her voice, like Kyubei's, bypasses your ears, heard directly in your mind. Her lips aren't even moving. You're not Homura. You're Chiaki. Chiaki Matsuda. Despite the horror of something from your recurring nightmares coming out into reality and actually talking to you, you managed to say this perfectly, even managing not to spill any whiskey down the front of your costume as you drained your glass. The illusion's smiles merely grow wider as she opens her eyes, revealing 2 orbs of pure midnight black, as if her irises had bled out through her sclera in the most horrible way possible. Of course, your memory is going to be unreliable. Fakes will never be as good as the original, so a few flaws here and there are going to be par for the course. But at the very least, you still remember how to slowly self-destruct. That's something the original was very good at. She lets out a sigh, and you smell her breath, pungent and sweet with decay and corruption. I'm just here to wish you good luck. You have a 30% chance of dying on this particular undertaking. Try not to get yourself killed too early, Homura-chan. I mean, I want a rematch, but I'm in no hurry. I like it better when you die slowly. The phantasm seems to slightly frown at your words, brow quirking as if this reaction was entirely unexpected. But her expression smoothens out to a previous one, her dark eyes glittering. It's then that she leans forward, smiling once more, her small tongue darting out to lick her lips. Maybe, Homura-chan, but I can still kill you. And it's then that you feel it, crippling, numbing pain, crunching the sensation of the back of your head, and then stabbing forward. You grasp at your own head, fingers curling into your hair as you grit your teeth against the pain. It's familiar, but at the same time, something you'd hope never to experience again. Hey! Hey! Murderface! Murderface! And as suddenly as it came, as soon as you hear Kyoko's voice over the sharp whine ringing in your ears, the pain disappears, taking with it the hallucination. You look up cautiously to check if Kyoko is still her ugly one-eyed self. She is. For the first time, you seem particularly relieved to see her. There's a first time for everything, you suppose. Hey, you alright? Come on, Murderface, don't scare me like that. Kyoko amusingly almost seems concerned about you. Look, I don't know what sort of shit you're taking, but you gotta cut down, really. Maybe we can get you some of them patches for the smokes. You shrug her off, murmur an apology, and frown as you realize that you've knocked the whiskey bottle off of the table and onto the floor in this particular episode. You glance apologetically at Charles and he merely nods. It'll be on your tab. You murmur something to Kyoko and make to leave, but she grabs your hand. Murderface, talk to me. What the hell was that about? What happened there? You remind her, as politely as you can, that you have a name and it's Chiaki Matsuda. I don't give a shit. What was that? Why did you suddenly blank out on me and started growling all of that strange stuff? Whatever you're taking, you have to cut down. It's no good. You're fine. Wait, what did she say? You ask her what you said. Something about the flesh of fallen angels. Yeah, I mean, I've heard weirder from you, but you stare at her, suddenly feeling cold. And it's then that you roughly pull your hand out of her grasp, grabbing the assignment papers with your other and making to leave. This shit, you remind yourself, is why you work alone. And you've apparently just confirmed that God exists and she wants you dead. Murderface, get the fuck back here! That is some crazy shit and... Kyoko's voice rises the moment you step through the bar doors. God damn it! You always do this! Alright, fine! See if I care! See if anyone cares, Murderface! You'll get yourself killed and everyone you love with that kind of attitude! As if you needed reminding. You stomp off towards the direction you remember that particular hotel is. Time to get to that job.